What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Bricks and Toys. In today's episode, we are finally getting back to our March sets. Well, I guess we were back into our March sets as of the last video with the Trevi Fountain, but what I'm trying to say is we're getting back to our F1 sets in March. As much as I would like to say that this is our last F1 set, we technically still have one more after this, and then we'll be all done with F1, and then we get to move into May, which will be our Star Wars month. So in today's video, we will be doing the Ferrari SF-24 Formula 1 car. Now, just a month ago, we built the RB20 Red Bull of the very similar nature, and I figured, to not spoil the fun or get burnt out, let's space these builds out by a month. So in case you're wondering, why did I not build what's probably a semi-popular set sooner? Well, that's why. I don't want to build two of these back to back, and at the same time, I want to take my time with my backlog. This one's been taking up space on my floor for a little bit too long, and I figured, you know what, before it gets any more stale, let's get it out and let's get it done. So this set is an 18 and older set. It is set number 42207, coming in at 1,361 pieces. It is of the 1/8 scale, and it does set you back $229.99 here in the US, so basically about $230, which is the normal price point of these F1 cars since the Mercedes that came out a year prior. Now, this being an 18 and older set, I've said it a million times, I'll say it again, this is primarily a black box with a greebled bottom. The bottom on this one is greebled with red Lego brick in the print, and then the car itself is imposed on the box with a reddish hue background to make the car pop. With our logo of the Ferrari SF-24 up at the top, we do have nice pinstriping of white and yellow, top and bottom of that logo. And then down at the bottom, we got our Ferrari logo, as well as our Lego and our Technic logos. That is the front of the box. Now let's spin it around. Let's take a look at the side of our box. Well, on the side of our box, we have a front downwards facing shot of the SF-24. Not a bad angle of the dangle. And you know what? We actually have a month's worth of dust to wipe off of that. Wow, thought I kept my stuff clean. Then on this side of the box, well, we don't have anything but country of origins and the do not eat your F1 car right there. Well, don't eat it while building it. So keep it away from kids under, what, 3? Yep, that's what it says. And then we take a look at the bottom of the box for our final bit of Legal Eagles, recycling information, barcode, Lego app, and all of that good stuff, which is found mostly down in this lower corner. And then we can move to the back of the box to where we can get a kind of a sideways top-down look of the car. Now, one of the things I am worried about this set is how similar is it going to be to the RB20. People have said they are two completely different builds. Well, I'm a Lego influencer. I make videos. I'll be the judge of that. But my hopes are extremely high that that is the case. Looking at this build, I can see that the engine cover is different. The side pods look a little bit different. The front spoiler, looks similar. The overall shape of all of the top there looks a little bit different. Our wheel center caps are different with that Ferrari red, yellow, and white. And then we do have the medium Pirelli yellow striped tires. And then we have traditional things like the HP logo on the spoiler. So, I really do hope that we are in for a different build, but at least we have some really nice designs that we can see just from looking at this on the back of the box. Now, looking at the bottom of the box, we have the set. There it is, says 1/8 in scale. It's going to be about 5 inches tall, about 24 inches in length, so about 2 feet long, which is what they normally are. These sets, as they come out, they are looking so good as a whole, with the exception of the McLaren. The McLaren looks a little barren, but the RB20 to the Mercedes looks great together, so I cannot wait to get this one built and put in with that lineup. It does look like we have a removable engine cover on this one, where we can see the engine once it's removed. And then from the halo down image of the car, and then we actually have a picture of the actual car. You see that we have the number 16 Ferrari, which would be the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc of Monaco. So now let's cut open our box. Let's see what we have in terms of this build. So we're gonna have 2 pieces of tape to cut, 1 and 2. And that will get us opened up. Now I'm going to give you guys the first look inside of the box, as I always do. Seems like we got some moderate dead space. What you guys think? Now let's do our pour. And there is our pour. Now, very similar to the RB20, we have a box. Gonna guess these are for tires. We'll check that out later on at that part of the video. Then we're gonna have a paper envelope with our book. And then we do have random parts not in bags, just floating around. Anything else before I drop something to lose it? Just looking at the red of this back piece right here, I'm going to say this is for the engine cover, like most of them are. This red is going to look phenomenal. I cannot wait to contrast this next to the RB20, which is more of a navy blue. This is going to look really nice. Now, why don't you guys come on in? Let's see all these parts laid out, anything extra I can find, and we can take a look at the instructions and see what kind of build we're in for. Okay, so here is our breakdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And let's just take a quick look at bag 10. I believe the RB20 had 10 bags as well. We can see those printed wheel caps, and boy, do they look great. Then we have 2 rando bags, which is weird of why we couldn't have this protected in a bag. But our first has what looks to be the pipe for the halo piece, as well as some frame pieces, and we have some wheels. In that box, just like I expected, we have our printed tires, our Pirelli medium P0s, and then we have the mother of sticker sheets. Look at all of these stickers. I'm trying to get a number. I see 55 right there. But yeah, we have engine cover stickers, side pod stickers, front nose stickers, front spoiler, rear spoiler. Yeah, we have a lot to go on this one. And then we come down to our book. Our book is a basic white book, about what we would expect for a build of this size. We have our QR code for our 20 points. Let's go ahead, let's take a look in the book. And there we have the actual car versus the Technic model. And then we have another look of Charles Leclerc in that car with some information about it. Now going back to the other car, we can see that this one has a 55, so that is the 55 of Carlos Sainz. Pretty interesting how they use both in the pictures. And then we have basically the pictures we had on the back of the box. And then we go back to Carlos Sainz's Ferrari with that 55. And then we got a little bit more information kind of telling us about the RB20, how it pairs up with this. And then we have the set designer holding the car, a little bit more information. And then it's going to go right into the build using those control arms like we saw with the RB20. Now let's move to the back of the book. So our final step in our book is going to be step 456 on page 307. And that will be putting the wheels together with the tires and putting them on the car. So that is your full unboxing in a nutshell. Up next for you guys is the review. So here it is. Here's the review segment of the Ferrari SF-24 Formula 1 car. And here it is. We're going to freehand this review because, well, there's a lot to kind of go over with this set. Not really too much about the elements, but we're going to go over stickers, printed elements, and, things that I like and some things that I don't like. And then before we wrap up the video, we're going to go and check it out next to the RB20. To begin, let's just take a nice side swipe from the rear to the front, and then come around and we'll start talking about things here in the front. With this front spoiler, we do have stickers on each side of the Santander or whatever it's called logo, HP, Shell, and then HCL software. We do not have a sticker on the inside of that piece, but we do have a sticker going all the way up through the top, as well as 2 stickers on top of the wheel covers. And then we have 2 stickers on each side for those sponsors, as well as the Ferrari logo. As we come over to the side pod area in the halo, we have another sticker element, as well as 1, 2, and 3 more. And then that repeats itself onto the other side. And then we have this delicious yellow and white stripe. Don't know why I love that stripe so much. All stickers coming all the way down. And right now I'm taking you guys around to get that side pod design. I don't know if at this point you guys are starting to see something that looks a little off with this. I'm going to talk about it here in a moment. Coming up to the engine cover, we have more stickers. And then we have more down here. And then as we come back, we have one hiding down here and on there with the side pod. And then we actually have stickers, 2 on the spoiler, 1 hanging out on the inside of the spoiler, as well as the 4 right up here. An interesting part usage is the hockey stick element for the DRS. And then we can get a good look at these printed center caps for the wheels, as well as the printed medium Pirelli P0 tires. Now let's begin to come in and let's take a look at this rear from the top. I can tell you, in photos, they really try to hide this angle for a reason. I am not a fan of the way that this looks at all. There is way too much empty space. It looks way too naked for a modern day F1 car. Just like, what is going on here? Like, I get that when you look at the actual photos of the car, it does look very similar to what they did here, but there's just so many like pieces and stuff that you don't want to see. Like if you come over here to the transmission, here is how you put it in gear or however that works, and that's fully exposed with 2 little cross axles on each side. So you can literally see the whole transmission working. And I thought we were moving away from designs like this after the McLaren and the success of the Mercedes that came out last year. These design issues come up into things like with this. I don't know why that has to be orange when they could have easily used a red one. I think we've used plenty of red ones throughout this build. But no, for the steering gear, they use an orange one of those. This does move the wheels like it should. Now, this does have a removable engine cover, which comes out kind of like that. And there you guys can get a look. It just looks like wings of a bug. It doesn't do a whole lot. And then with that removed, because it's so small, it opens up, well, the entire area where we can get a sense of the moving pistons, which is not moving because we got to kick it in gear, and then we get a sense of it moving. Kick that back out of gear, so I like it like that. Let you guys get a better look at all of these components. Not too complex. Engine cover goes right back on. It kind of slides, locks down, and then shimmies into place. And then we can come into here. We can get a look at the cockpit, which is not too detailed. You just see some sticker elements and, of course, Technic components. There's the steering wheel that steers the vehicle. It is functioning. And then we can get a look at our seat, our pipes to make the halo, and all of that good stuff. With the set turned around, you guys can see it's pretty much the same thing on this side, just an opposite. Overall, I really like the look of the side pods. I like the look of the Ferrari. I just don't like how thin the component usage seems to be. It's like we could have used an extra beam in between this area to kind of like fill in that area, because I believe on the actual F1 car, it is pretty much filled in. Taking one more look at the back, we can see that we don't have any underside sponsors for the spoiler besides the 2 on the sides. And then we have this 1x2 radiator grille in translucent red for that center light. And then you can see all the extra little foliage of all the air and stuff down there. Now with the car on its side, we can get a look at the underside of it and all of the gears, components, and all the pieces that make the set what it does. You guys can see the suspension and how it's built. You guys can see the gears that are used to move the steering with the rods, all the connecting pins, the lower of the engine, the lower of the transmission, and then the lower springs for the rear suspension. You guys can see the part usage for the lower floorboards of the side pods, and also interesting pieces like this for the air deflectors, or whatever you want to call them, that come all the way down into there. And right there's the example of being able to use red instead of orange pieces like that. They do exist on other parts of the set. We could have made it work. Now let's compare this to the RB20. Now we have both cars sitting here side by side. It is important to note that not all F1 cars are built equally. That's why it's called a competition. Unlike NASCAR, they don't follow a stringent code to the body. You're pretty much free to do as you please. So that's not what I am comparing these two. I'm comparing these two because they were released together, and you guys, as consumers, want to know, do you go with the champion or do you go up with the constructor's runner-up? That's what you guys want to know. Third place, constructors, or second place? The biggest thing, like I've said with this set time and time again, the back just seems like it could have used more to fill in the pieces here in the back. They got the general shape of it right, but the density of like being able to see through it feels really incomplete. Something that you would find on a $50 Technic car, like what's up my wall here. Taking a look at the Red Bull, this is how they finished out the back of the Red Bull. You see the dark colors of blue and black. You don't see any bright colors popping out of the suspension components. So looking down into the engine cover, you can see very minimal of the transmission and engine. They did a really well job of covering it up in this one. But with this one, Yeah, it's kind of all out there in the open. Yellow parts, light bluish gray parts, red parts. The car is red, so I don't blame that. But yeah, you guys can see what I'm trying to say with that. Other than that, I like the Ferrari side pods just as much as I like the side pods on the Red Bull. I like the red a lot, just as much as I like this blue and yellow. I do like the extra color of the halo when it comes over to here, to the Ferrari. I think that looks really nice. And I do think it's kind of funny that between the two cars, they switched out the order of the parts for the front nose. So we have the flat piece here with the thin curved piece there, where if we come over here on the Red Bull, we got the curved piece here with the flat piece there. Again, these cars are different. You know, we can't compare too much with them because they're not the same. I do like how they did the mirrors on the Red Bull with these rods, but I really like how they did what would be the mirrors on the Ferrari. That looks really clean. I do think both of these cars are really awesome and really nice, but I like how they kind of tidied this one up just a little bit more. With that being said, we're not going to keep going over details. Don't have all day to do this. Let's wrap up this video. And there we have it. After a month, we have both of these guys sitting side by side each other in their complete state. They were released together. They cost the same at $230, making this $460 to get them both without a year in between to give you a break like they did with the Mercedes. But man, we have the blue, we have the scarlet red Ferrari, we have two sets with two massive sticker sheets, which I don't mind stickers really at all. But we have two levels of detail, two completely different cars. That's one thing I was really wondering when I was doing this video or planning this video is I did this one a month before doing this one intentionally because I was afraid of Technic burnout because they're F1 cars at the end of the day. And you know how easy it is just to copy and paste a Technique because who's going to notice? I'm probably going to notice. But they didn't do that. They didn't copy and paste too many techniques at all. You can even tell by looking at the suspension components and the way that they're put together. Things are flip-flopped upside down. The ride heights of these cars are different. This one's more raked like a hot rod. This one's more level. They even use medium tires versus soft tires. It's just amazing. There's design elements on this one that I really like. There's design elements on this one that I really like. This is a really cool experience to be sitting here with both of them. There's not a wrong answer on which one to buy. Out of the two, I do prefer the Red Bull. And I know I made the joke about favoritism, but the Red Bull is designed a little bit more complete. I like how you can't really see too much into it. Whereas this one, I feel like for 2025, I'm seeing way too much into that back. And I find it really conspiracy theorist type thinking here to be weird when you look at the images of this set with Lego. They're really trying to hide it. And when they get up close, you know what they do for the photo? The engine. So I do find that kind of like a conspiracy theory in my head of kind of like, okay, they're really trying to hide the fact that they got to the back and they're like, you know what? We don't got to do too much. And I'm looking at the set right now. You can easily slip in a beam that goes across the back to even cover up that suspension. One Technic beam of 15 or whatever could fix that and make it 100 times better. But the designer has his reasons. At least here at the Red Bull, we don't have that. I do like how the spoilers are different on the rear with both, as well as the front spoilers. It's just really cool just to sit here and marvel at the difference. Like I said, there's not a right answer. I would lean this way for a little bit more of a polished build, but that red is just awesome. And if you guys already have the Mercedes and the McLaren, now we have 4 of these running around the house. And you're making quite a collection here. I do think that they are a good value for the money still at $230. You can easily build this in an entire day like I did with this one. I did take about 4 or 5 days to build this guy, but that's only because of time. I'll talk more about why I have more time as of recently in an upcoming video. For right now, let's not worry about that. But at $230, they take the right amount of time. They have the right amount of pieces. The stickers, you know what? Embrace the stickers. I found it to be kind of like model-esque building, to relax and just do the best that I can. Make it a goal that every single sticker parallel matches the other side, and have fun with it. Do your best. I do think that I did try some really cool techniques on this guy to put the stickers in that I really like. So when I did the rear engine cover, I put the middle sticker on first, as that has better points to guide it. Then I did the front sticker because it doesn't have as many easy points to guide it in, but I can line it up with the other one, but then do the back one last. And just figuring out your way with the stickers, and it makes it a part of the experience that's positive. Stickers does not always have to be a bad thing. With that, guys, I don't have too much more to say other than I cannot wait to put these both on display, where I've had this one for the last month, and just watch my F1 races with both of these guys. Eventually, I'll retire them to the Lego dungeon in my room and hang them sideways, but maybe more recently than not, I'm going to end up getting a special pegboard to put up on the wall for these guys and hang them like art, which is going to be for all four of them. So super fun stuff here with them. Super happy. And with that, if you guys enjoyed this video, I just want to say consider hitting the subscribe button and following along with everything that we do. As usual, consider sharing this video with a friend and hitting that thumbs up, that like button. That would be awesome. Up next on the channel, we are doing another F1 build, but this time it's the Icons Nigel Mansell, which is like the Senna F1 car from the year prior, but this time with a lot of corrected issues. I cannot wait to go over that build with you all. I hope you check out that video. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a good one.